Hi guys, this is Miss Lena. So today we're going to be focusing on Roy Lichtenstein's pop artwork. So here's a photograph of Roy Lichtenstein. He died in 1997, and he was a famous pop artist. You can probably see his work. You can see it in New York City, you can see it in Barcelona, and you can see it in the Tate Museum in London. And I'm sure you can see a lot of his influence all over the world. So let's just take a closer look. So what exactly is pop art? So pop art is an art movement which focuses on popular culture, comic books, and everyday things. I may have shared with you before Andy Warhol's work, which focused on soup cans, and something that is just so simple as a Campbell soup can became very popular. So that's an example of everyday things. Roy Lichtenstein didn't focus necessarily on everyday things, but let's just see some of the things that he focused on. So what kind of pop art did Roy Lichtenstein do? Right over here, you can see Roy Lichtenstein posing with one of his masterpieces. They're large prints, and they're actually paintings. I know they look like comic book strips, but they're actually paintings. Over here is one of his most famous ones called Wham. I believe that's hanging in the Tate Museum in London. And if you could notice, they look like comic books. It's not realistic. It has that comic book feel to it. We want to take a closer look and see what are some of the similarities that we see in different art pieces. So let's just go look over here. Over here, these are three different examples. So here is one of a person talking on the phone. This one over here, which we are going to be doing at a later point, recreating it, is called Sunset. And over here is a part of the Wham display. I want you to look very carefully and tell me what is it that you notice is the same in every one of these art pieces. So I'll just pause for a second so you could take a good look at it. If you answered or thought in your mind that colors are some of the things that are the same. So if we look at each of these art pieces, we notice that all of them have red, right? And we also notice that there is some white involved in the bubble sign here, in the clouds, on the airplane over here. And we also notice blue, right? So we are seeing red, white, blue, and there's also yellow. Yellow is going on. Over here, there's some blue here, and you're probably thinking light blue, but we'll take a look at that a little later. So these are called primary colors. Primary colors are the colors that are used to make other colors. So if we combine red and blue, we'll make purple. If we make yellow and red, we'll make orange. White and red, we'll make pink. But the primary colors, let's just recap that, are red, blue, and yellow. So he is using those three colors over there. So we're going to take a little closer look at some of his work because this looks like light blue. And over here, we can see something that sort of looks like pink. Let's find out what that's all about and why exactly is it looking like a different color, even though Roy Lichtenstein is using the three same colors, which are red, yellow, and blue. So if we take a closer look, it's like a comic book strip. This woman is crying, being a little dramatic. Which is okay. Nothing wrong with being dramatic sometimes. But if we look at her skin tone, if we look over here, it looks like she has sort of that peach colored skin. But if we were to take a closer look, we can see that actually her skin is composed of all these little dots. And that is something that you may be familiar with the term pointillism, also known as dot art. Over here at her eye, which looks like a light blue, is composed of small dots of blue. So we notice that by using the dots, we can create a lighter color effect because when the actual image is shown from afar, it gives the impression of a lighter version of the color. We know that obviously red and white make pink. We know that blue and white make a light blue. So by doing the dots, you can also get the sensation that it is in fact a different color when he's still using the same colors. All right, let's go take a look at something else. So we mentioned that Roy Lichtenstein's work is hanging in different museums. Over here, we can see that Roy Lichtenstein, which is from my city, New York City, Times Square Station, he has a huge display, again, looking like comic book strips, looking like buildings over here, using again, those primary colors. And this is right when you're about to take the shuttle train, you will see it. It's a really big, huge display. Okay, so let's go take a look at his work that is in Barcelona. This is actually called La Cara de Barcelona, which means the face of Barcelona. And I actually noticed it when I was leaving Barcelona Pier. I noticed this huge sculpture. So it's not just paintings, it's not just like these displays that are just like a flat surface. We can also see how it can also, he incorporated, and it's very visible here, dot art, pointillism, and primary colors in an actual sculpture that is hanging, well, not hanging, it's on display in the middle of Barcelona. Now, what is our new art project all about? So our new art project is creating a pop art sign. We're going to be doing a series of different kind of art projects that are going to be inspired by Roy Lichtenstein, which are super cool, but we're going to focus on for our first one, we're going to do a pop art sign. So you may have noticed, and I'll scroll back up so you can take a look. You may have noticed that in his work, there is something else besides primary colors. We notice that there are words. Comic strips have dialogue, conversations and bubbles, but there are also these words like wham. And if we look over here, that the cause of this accident creates the sound effect of blam. So you are seeing all these words that are creating sort of a sound effect and are kind of in the center. So in our pop art sign, I want you to start thinking, what kind of word would you like to put there? This one is pretty simple. This is actually done by Roy Lichtenstein, and it's just a pop. It says pop. So you can use pop, bam, wham. Start thinking. You don't have to necessarily do the word that you want to do, commit to that word right now, but that's something you want to start thinking about. Because it is also like a comic book strip, we notice that there's also like sort of, it looks like clouds. And then we notice like these kind of things that look like stars that kind of give the effect also of motion. So if somebody were to, let's say something, a balloon were to pop, right? You would feel like the sensation of motion of that popping sound, and also these little triangles also give the impression that something actually did in fact pop or burst. And so that's something that you have to incorporate. If we were to look over here, you can notice that again, our friend Roy Lichtenstein is using pointillism. So there is some color dots over here. Each section, which is very important, each section is a different color. Now, this is a form of yellow. This is another yellow. This looks like pink, but maybe if we were to take a closer look, it would look like dots of red. But what I want us to do for this specific project, and I'll probably make a short video of that so you can know exactly how to go about it, is that you are only committing to primary colors. Your background should be obviously a white paper, but for this project, you are only using red, yellow, and blue. Now, we spoke very briefly that if you were to use red in dot form, it creates the sensation or the color pink, right? If we were to use blue in dot form, it will create light blue. So when you are doing that, you are only committing to those three colors. I'm going to do another video that will explain the step-by-step process of this. And I hope this was helpful to you. Have a good one. Bye.